So with the resurgence of the quarterback position in Carolina, you had Cam Newton, the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Very much improved your offense, but your defense was hurt, banged up all year long. I'm going to break down the 2012 offseason for the Carolina Panthers, what they need to do, who they need to look at in the draft, and I'm going to get to that right now. So the Carolina Panthers finished their 2011 season at 6-10. The reason why I believe they're drafting at 8 or 9, depending on the coin flip with the Dolphins, is because of injuries, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Now, their offseason goal, I believe, is to find healthy players, whether it's in free agency or the draft. And I'm going to break down their free agents and their draft needs. So for free agency, they have 7 unrestricted free agents. But with that being said, there's not too many big names on their team who will be making their departures. Whether it be, Jeremy Shockey, he's not really a big name anymore. He's 31 years of age, and they have Greg Olsen now. I don't think they will re-sign him. Or maybe even Dan Connor. He's at linebacker. He's 26 years old. Maybe re-sign him. But, these guys aren't really huge names like some of these other teams have on their team. For draft needs, I believe they have 3 main needs: wide receiver, cornerback, and defensive tackle. Some of you guys are thinking defensive tackle. They drafted 2 defensive tackles in the 2nd and the 3rd round in the last draft behind Cam Newton, but there wasn't really much production there. And there wasn't production out of the defensive tackles in general because a lot of them were hurt. They need a solid number 1 defensive tackle, whether it be the number 1 defensive tackle in the draft, whether it be a defensive tackle in free agency. I'll get to that in a second. Wide receiver, after Steve Smith, who do they really have? Steve Smith is an 11-year veteran. He's due to retire sometime in the next couple of seasons. And then after that, you're going to have to start building that wide receiving core because all they really have is Steve Smith. David Geddes had an alright year with 500 yards, 4 or 5 touchdowns. Then after him, you had maybe Brandon LaFell, Legadou Nani. Armonte Edwards, I don't think had any production. David Clowney, I don't think had any production. Even a guy, I'm going to say his name, Sai Ajri-Atutu, he didn't really have anything either. I think he had 1 catch. So just because his name is cool to say doesn't mean it's cool to have on the roster. You got to start getting rid of some of these guys, bringing in some guys who are going to bring in some production. And the cornerback, you're going to need somebody the opposite side of Chris Gamble, somebody who can start right away. So with that being said, in draft day, I got a couple guys that can take a look at if they're drafting 8th or 9th. Michael Brockers, the number 1 defensive tackle as of right now out of LSU. If not, maybe Fletcher Cox, he's also a defensive tackle, or Dre Kirkpatrick, the cornerback out of Alabama. In my original mock draft, my 1.0, I had Dre Kirkpatrick going to the Panthers, but with his off-the-field issues, I pushed him back. I bumped up Michael Brockers, defensive tackle, going to the Panthers. So that's who I have, Brockers to the Panthers as of right now. If they, for whatever reason, want to trade back in the draft for someone who wants to trade up, I can see them possibly even taking a look at wide receiver. That's also a need, like I mentioned. They can maybe go with Michael Floyd or Kendall Wright at the wide receiver position and address that need. So that's all I have for the Panthers for the 2012 off season. If you guys like that video, hit the subscribe button. If you guys are new to my channel, go to my Facebook and Twitter, like those pages as well. To cap it off for the Panthers, I believe you guys are not going to finish anywhere as you did this year. I'm saying that because of Cam Newton and your offense, but if your defense stays healthy, that's the key. Your defense stays healthy, Cam Newton plays like he did this year, you guys should be contending with the Falcons and the Saints in the NFC South.